week 12 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few guards I will look to drop this week. The first guy's Malik Monk of the Charlotte Hornets. So Monk, he had a couple weeks of some big games and big performances for fantasy owners and the Hornets, but that's all going to come to an end now with Devonte Graham coming back. And we've already seen the playing time and the production go down on the season. He's ranked 265 in fantasy basketball with 13 points a game, 2.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 2.3 threes a game, 80% from the foul line, and 45% from the field. But the last few weeks, his ranking's 243 now is Monk. 12 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 threes a game, 88% from the foul line, and 40% from the field. So Monk, he's had a couple games where he scored 30 or more points with multiple threes, a decent amount of steals, and a couple other categories with decent rebounding and assisting. But now Devonte Graham, he finally came back after the All-Star break, and the numbers have dropped for Monk, and the playing time just isn't there for good production and a guy to keep on your fantasy team. So since the All-Star game was over and they returned from the break, March 11th, 9 points, 3 rebounds, and assist and a 3 versus Detroit. March 13th versus Toronto, 16 points, 2 rebounds, and assist, a steal, a block. And then March 15th versus the Sacramento Kings, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. So that's not getting the job done. And in this time, he's only played 17 minutes, 19 minutes, and 14 minutes. So he's not seeing the court once again like he did in the beginning of the season. And he's been dropped already in 4% of fantasy leagues. And I would go out there and drop him once. The next guard to drop is TJ McConnell of the Indiana Pacers. So McConnell, he had a good few-week run with a lot of steals, including a triple-double game where he had 11 steals, I believe, in a ball game. But right now, Caris LeVert, he's back in the lineup here for Indiana, which is a great thing to see that they found what was wrong with him with that trade. So LeVert, he's going to get the minutes, he's going to get the playing time. And McConnell, he wasn't much of a scorer anyway this season for fantasy. On the season, though, he's ranked 72nd on the year, 6.5 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1.9 steals, 47% from the foul line, which is abysmal, and 52% from the field. But the last few weeks now, the numbers have really dropped, and he's ranked 266 in the time with 4 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and he's shooting 42% from the field. So McConnell, he's been dropped in 12% of fantasy leagues so far in the last week or two here. He's still owned in 42% of leagues, but he's just not getting the playing time as much. He wasn't a big scorer, like I mentioned earlier here, and he was more of an assist and steals type of guy. But he's just not playing the minutes or showing the production to be worthy of a roster spot anymore. March 12th, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block at the Lakers. March 13th at Phoenix, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. And then last night at the Denver Nuggets, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. So that's not going to get the job done. That's minimum numbers in fantasy basketball. And he's a definite easy drop candidate this week. And the third and final guard I would look to drop this week's Derrick Rose of the New York Knicks. He's been out with the COVID and safety protocol now, going all the way back to March 2nd is Rose. So Rose, he's already been out 2 weeks here for this Knicks team. He's probably not going to play again here tonight versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And on the season, Derrick Rose, he's ranked 200th with 13.5 points a game, 2.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.2 steals a game. So Derrick Rose, it was a good trade for him to go to New York from Detroit. Detroit obviously rebuilding this season, and now going with all the youngsters and trying to pile up draft picks for the upcoming 2022 NBA draft. But Derrick Rose, he's a player that's been good throughout his career, but the injuries have been a problem. But this one right now with the health and safety protocols are pretty much out of his hands. But we just don't know when he's going to come back. We've seen a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns. He was out for 3 or 4 weeks with the protocol list. And Derrick Rose, he's still owned in a bunch of fantasy leagues at 61%. But we've seen the emergence of Emmanuel quickly for this Knicks team, playing major minutes. And I think Derrick Rose, he might take a little bit of a backseat to quickly when he returns. Plus, there could be another trade in the works for the Knicks trying to get Alonzo Ball or Eric Bledsoe at the point guard position. So Derrick Rose right now, I would look to drop him. And if he does come back and play well, then you go get him. But right now, he's a droppable guard here. So that's a few guards I would look to drop here in Week 12 of the fantasy basketball season.